So we've been running Christmas Past at Museum of the Home now for nearly 30 years, but this year it looks a little bit different. So it's part of our winter festival that looks at the many different celebrations during winter from a range of cultures and religions, things like Diwali and Hanukkah and New Year. And also this year looks slightly different because we have our new 1970s room, and this is curated by Michael McMillan, and he has dressed it for Christmas based on his memories of growing up in Hackney and the memories of his family who are post-war Caribbean migrants. Christmas looks very different depending on what time period you're looking at. So in the 1600s, it's this really raucous celebration. The homes are decorated with all this greenery. It's a real time of merriment. And then when you get into the later years in the 1700s, we've actually just got over Christmas being cancelled. And when Christmas is reintroduced, it's a much more quiet affair, it's much more subdued. And then we get to the Victorian room, and this is where we see a real revival of Christmas. And the Victorians actually gave us many of the Christmas traditions that we recognise today, such as the Christmas card, the Christmas tree they made popular, and also during the Victorian era is where we see the real arrival of this figure of Father Christmas. Christmas during World War I was a much more subdued affair. Many people had loved ones away from home, missing them, going through a really hard time. But we do still see some traditions that continue. So, for example, the Christmas tree, the Edwardian Christmas tree looks slightly different to the Victorian Christmas tree because it's a Norway spruce, but it's still, put up for Christmas and decorated. And we also see this bringing in of greenery, which is something that dates back to the 1600s, and it signifies everlasting life, and holly, especially fertility with the red berries.
I know you may have not written it. Definitely, yeah. I'll speak to Amy about it. I think that'd be really good. It's really weird.
The main differences of Christmas in the 1930s is we start to see the introduction of the artificial Christmas tree. And these were really popular because you didn't need to clean up needles, and also people had less access to gardens, so they were less able to bring in the fresh greenery that we see in the earlier years. We also see the introduction of paper chains and paper lanterns and homemade decorations, and these are really colourful and vibrant.
Objects relate to migrant stories throughout the past.
Definitely in the United States, 100%.
could see there was quite a lot of sort of national things in the room, and the pictures, there was a lot of the sort of English 70s, but the colours were quite different. And I noticed the flowers on one of the tables reminded me of the Indian days back then. Yeah, it was just a lot of stuff popping at you, so yeah.
I just thought it was super interesting because you just get to get an insight of how people used to live, how they were connected to their roots, their background, and how then that connected to their lives here in England. You know, how they brought some of their home to a foreign country, and I thought that was really fascinating. As a foreigner myself, I think that's super interesting.